do you think is actually going on when you take a pill? Well, I take the pill and all of a sudden I'm feeling better. Right, okay. So when you take a pill, what is actually going on is you take the pill and that pill is basically sending a signal to your brain to produce more of whatever chemical it is. You know, if you're taking cocaine or methadone, for example, or a lot of other drugs that are out there, you are going to have, that feeling of increased um, joy and basically the reward hormone. But you're getting rewarded without doing anything. When you're taking a spliff or weed or pot or whatever, name, a slang term you want to, skunk, smack, whatever, and they are different drugs. But, whatever terminology you want to call it, when you are taking that, that is putting your body into more subdued, relaxed state of being. So what is actually happening when you take a pill? It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's cocaine, whether it's speed, whether it's smack, whether it's LSD, whether it's steroids, whether it's prednisolone, prednisone, whatever. That chemical, that little pill, is absorbed into your bloodstream. And it goes all the way from your bloodstream, wherever you absorb it, probably from your stomach, all the way to your brain, and tells your brain you need to produce more of chemical X. Now, you may not need to produce more of chemical X because the body naturally produces enough of this stuff by itself. But nowadays, what's happening is that we have conditioned a world. Well, we haven't. We have a conditioned world. Okay. And again, I try to be very careful with phraseology, but we have a conditioned world that basically says you've got anxiety, take a pill. You've got depression, take a pill. You've got inferiority complex, take a pill. You want to change gender, let's take a pill. Let's do a brutal operation on you that's there. You are suffering with PTSD, take a pill. You want to go and pill. Rather than exploring the root source of, now, don't get me wrong, sometimes your body isn't producing enough naturally to do this. So what actually happens is you need something, and again, exploring it from the mind, body, soul point of view, you need something to be able to replace what isn't naturally produced. So, for example, my body, when I was on steroids, when I was ill with colitis, it had to be given prednisone, which is a steroid. It tells my brain you need to produce more of this healing chemical because otherwise this guy's going to this guy's going to die. When you come off of the steroids, when you come off of the prednisone, what happens is you start getting sleepy. You start getting really, really tired. Why do you get really tired? Because your body has to start again, and start producing this stuff naturally. And that's what happens, is that your body stops producing this stuff naturally because it's been replaced by the pill. Does that make sense? So when you get to that point of, if you've got acne, for example, and I'm going through my own, list of medications from over the years, when you've got acne and you take a pill for acne, and that is your body, or the pill saying to your body, you need to produce more of this. You're producing too much oily chemicals. He's taking too much sugar in, so you need to counteract it. It all has a knock-on effect. You take a thing called limacycline, which is a very, very good, in inverted commas, a cure for acne. It does the job. It damages your liver. If you are taking prednisone, it's going to potentially damage your brain. This is what happened to me. If you're taking, I'm trying to think of some of the other medications, Azacol, and you're taking the one that's escaping me that I'm presently, I have to take every now and then, Pentasa. That attacks your kidneys, it attacks your liver, it attacks a lot of different things. So you got to have regular blood tests, okay, to make sure it's not getting out of balance. Basically, their job is to increase the quality of life and to prolong it. But eventually, it's going to stop working. And the reason it's going to stop working is because your body will become so used to it that it hasn't had to produce these chemicals for a really long time. Because again, that chemical tells your brain, hey, you need to produce more of this, and I'm going to help you do it. And eventually what happens, that's why people get sick 30, 40 years after they've been on the pills, and they can't understand why, because what happens is, 30, 40 years down the line, well, your body hasn't produced anything for 30, 40 years. It's stopped producing things because that pill has replaced it. So that is the danger of putting children on anxiety medication, on PTSD medication, on BPD medication. Now, I think sometimes, potentially, is there an argument to put it on them for short term? Possibly. But I far rather, and I do this with all of my clients, anyone that I've ever worked with, whether they be a teenage boy or girl, whether they be a child, whether they be an adult in their 50s, 60s, or 70s, every single one of them, I have explored the root cause with them long before I've ever said to them, you need to go to a doctor, you need to get diagnosed with this is what I think it is, because I want to know what it is. And 9 times out of 10, you can actually go back and you can see, well, where did this originate from? Where did this anxiety originate from? Where did this trauma originate from? And some people really, really, hate talking about it. But I try and make the room as safe a place as possible, and I support them every single way. And 9 times out of 10, the very first words that will leave my mouth when they're done speaking will be, thank you so much for sharing that with me. If that takes them an hour, if that takes them 2 hours, in yesterday's case, if that takes them 3.5 hours, when they share it with me, I say, thank you so much for sharing that with me. I know that must have been difficult for you, because I remember what it was like for me. So pills are not the answer. Exercise is a big part of the answer. People aren't exercising enough now. And a lot of the BS that's coming on social media and stuff, is by a lot of people that want to, again, do the quick fix. If I'm going to accept any form of guidance and advice, it's going to be from people that have done what I want to do, have done it for longer, and have been more successful than the one I have, and that have done it ethically. And that's the advice I'm going to listen to. I'm not a big fan of the majority of the modern gurus and life coaches and all of that. I get sick and tired of the experts. I never call myself an expert. I'm always a student, because the expert is the one who thinks he knows everything, doesn't need to grow anymore. The student is the one who knows that he doesn't know anything, or that he doesn't know everything, and is always open to growing.